Okay. All right, everybody. So I hope you enjoyed the conversation beforehand, and welcome to this lab, Sustainable Futures, the intersection of Indigenous wisdom and climate adaptation and technology in the Global South. We have two really amazing guests here today. And I'm going to let you introduce yourselves and give us, a brief bio about the work you do, and then we'll launch into the questions. So if you would like to start, Jason, just a brief bio on what you do, the amazing work you do, and talk to us about that.
Oh, kia ora, Tricia. It's wonderful to be here. I'm a governing council member for Catalyst 2030. So that sort of dwells me into the social entrepreneurial space for supporting communities globally. I have a couple of startup groups which are looking at nature-based solutions. I'm also a member of Indigenous Commons, which is coming this year, and it's a collective global movement of Indigenous communities contributing to their fires and their local presence. And then I'm very fortunate to be here speaking on behalf of Her Many Voices, which is, I'm a board member for Her Many Voices, which is activists and artists placing Indigenous systems and solutions globally. I'm from Aotearoa, New Zealand, and and I've been involved also in global professional sports, and I'm utilising those aspects of my life to contribute to the planet and the people that we serve and we wish to be present for. So yeah, that's me in a little nutshell, and I'll hand it over to Banji.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you, Tricia. Thank you, Jason. Just a bit bio about myself. My name is Banji. I'm based in Lagos, Nigeria. I'm the managing partner for a business advisory firm, Pinnacle Business Solutions. Essentially, Pinnacle Business Solutions is a business advisory firm. We help small and medium enterprises as well as venture capital firms to de-risk investment across Africa. We also help startup founders and business owners to be able to connect faster to access to capital, and also to support with structuring their business with the opportunity to be able to scale. So we would provide advisory services along the lines of regulatory compliance, legal, financial in terms of investment readiness, and also we provide support with post-investment support services to venture capital firms or private equity firms or family offices seeking to empower or play within the African startup ecosystem. Professionally, I trained as a lawyer. I have over 14 years experience in international procurement and contracting. And I've done that across different countries in Ghana, in the UK, and also in Nigeria across about 4 or 5 sectors. So that's just a little bit about myself. Thank you.
Fantastic. We've had earlier just such an amazing conversation about how many different things intersect, localized community, but building, capacity building, sustainability, technology. And so I'm going to start with asking a few questions to you both about some of these aspects. So Jason, so How Many Voices is that small organization that you're affiliated to. One of the things that I took note of was when I read on their website, How Many Voices is a small organization that does big things in the world. It says its mission is to ignite artists and activists all in us in order to move our passions for the purpose of betterment of men, children, and Mother Earth. So I wanted to ask you how you see Indigenous wisdom contributing to education and the empowerment of the next generation in the community spaces you inhabit, and also on a global scale.
Oh, thanks for that, Trish. Tihe mauri ora, tu taua mai I runga, tu taua mai I raro. Tu taua mai I waho, tu taua mai I roto. Kia tau ai te mauri ora ki te katoa. Tera pēr ka whakamohi o tanga e koe o uranga pono, haumi e, hui e, tai ki e. The life force of us combined, we summon from above, below, within, from the outside environment, to calm and settle the vital inner essence, the well-being of everyone. May your awareness open up your true existence. Be joined together, united here today. Just before I answer that question, Trish, I just want to put a respectful acknowledgement to our Indigenous Commons guardians, Emma, Bante, Solomane, Gavi, Geronimo, Gwen, Amon, Suzanne, Minari, Cecilia, Dema, Lydia, and then also an acknowledgement to Elisa Fore, the founder of Her Many Voices, Vanessa Jamison, Asila Lewis, Tami Katave, Tommy Nahulu, and all the contributors to Her Many Voices globally for allowing our voice today. I'd also give a mention to AIM Mentoring Team, Jack, Leah, Artie, Tyson Yunkapora, Stephanie, Peru and co. And then I noticed today also that there was our Catalyst 2030 whānau here today. So I wanted to give an acknowledgement to Susanna Ramirez and Paula Pena for being present. And then last but not least, a big thanks to yourself, Tricia, and Adriana, and all the HNX and Anamana whānau. So coming back to your question.
Thank you.
Her Many Voices, you know, it's 15 years of igniting artivists, weaving a future of hope as Her Many Voices Foundation celebrates its 15th anniversary on March the 2nd, 2024 this year. So it's a time to reflect on the power of art, activism, and Indigenous wisdom to ignite a brighter future for women, children, and our Mother Earth. Weaving together global hemp and CBD products, community education, and the empowerment of the next generation, we can create a tapestry of change that ripples across borders and generations. Some future steps I'll just briefly touch on, because I know we had our time frame, I wanted to just touch a little bit, the Global Hemp Harvest, Artivist Academy, community murals, a virtual family or whānau, and Indigenous Wisdom Library. Just a little bit on the Artivist Academy, looking at launching an online and offline Artivist Academy, a space for youth to learn from Indigenous elders, artists, and activists, and craft workshops on sustainable living, cultural storytelling, and creative expression, empowering young voices to advocate for their communities and the planet. The Global Hemp Harvest, we're partnering with Her Many Voices with Indigenous communities to cultivate and harvest sustainable hemp, creating a global supply chain for eco-friendly, ethically sourced products like clothing, paper, and construction materials. Integrate CBD, a natural wellness compound from hemp, into educational programs and community initiatives, promoting holistic well-being. The community murals, which Tommy and others are involved with, collaborate with local communities to create vibrant murals depicting Indigenous wisdom and environmental themes. These murals will not only beautify spaces, but also serve as educational tools, sparking conversations about sustainability and cultural heritage. I just touch on the virtual whānau or bridging. There was looking at a geographical gap by establishing a virtual family network connecting Indigenous communities across the globe. This platform that we will develop with Her Many Voices will share knowledge, resources, and support, fostering a global community of artivists working for positive change. So I just wanted to close your eyes for 1 second and imagine a world where children weave hemp bracelets while learning about sustainable practices from their elders. A world where community murals tell stories of resilience and hope, inspiring passers-by to take action. A world where young artivists, empowered by Indigenous wisdom, use their creativity to advocate for a more just and sustainable future. This is the world Her Many Voices is working towards, and you can be a part of it. On a global scale, the Indigenous wisdoms are rooted in deep respect for Te Taiao, the natural world and interconnectedness of all living beings. This offers invaluable lessons for a global community grappling with environmental and social challenges. By integrating Indigenous knowledge into our community education, we can nurture a generation of mindful citizens who understand the importance of living in harmony with nature and each other. On a global scale, sharing Indigenous wisdom through workshops, conferences, cultural exchange programs, and so forth, we can foster understanding and cooperation, paving the way for a more equitable and sustainable future for all. As Her Many Voices embarks on its next chapter, let us celebrate the power of art, activism, and Indigenous wisdom. Let us weave together a future where passion meets purpose, where communities thrive, and where Mother Earth is cherished. Together we can be the artivist of change, igniting a brighter future for generations to come. Kia kaha, kia maia, kia manawa nui. Be strong, be brave, be resilient. One of Her Many Voices' keys is to connect Indigenous communities, empower young people, and weave together a tapestry of sustainable solutions that benefit all. Ngā mihi, everyone.
Beautiful and fantastic. I love the artivist. You know, I'm a designer, artist, and so I totally understand everything that you're saying and how important it is to make that connection between art and education and learning. So many connections there that, you know, I will connect with you about maybe in the future, you know, just very much from my heart. And again, you know, just going back to, you know, the different aspects that intersect. I'm going to talk to Banji a little bit about business. You know, you're a business expert. You know, how do you see acknowledging ancient wisdom and traditional practices enhancing purpose-driven businesses, seeking climate solutions? And in your view, how can technology and ancient wisdom intersect positively in driving sustainable business practices? So, you know, just, you know, where do you see them kind of all intersecting?
Right. Thank you so very much. Yeah, I think based on my experience, direct experience working with business founders and business owners, and also providing advisory services, what we have seen is that ancient wisdom and certain traditional practices, in a lot of ways, they align with some secular economic principles. And that alignment, it's where they interconnect, where we see the interrelation between traditional cultural practices and ancient wisdom, and also with secular economic principles, sustainable principles that emphasize resourcefulness, that emphasize efficient resource management, that emphasize some waste reduction, and some of those areas, right? We also see the need to be able to interrelate or interconnect through the use of new technologies, right? To be able to drive, for example, resource efficiency, such that by way of leveraging the old ancient traditional wisdom, coupled with the need for technology, it would only potentially help to improve or draw us closer to achieving some of the goals in terms of sustainability. Particularly also your question as to how technology and ancient wisdom interconnect positively in driving sustainable business practices. What we have seen is that learnings from ancient wisdom, learnings from the past, learnings from the local community needs to be combined with modern innovations. So founders with new ideas, new initiatives, new solutions, innovative solutions, driven by tech-driven solutions, needs to be able to connect with locals who have ancient knowledge and wisdom and traditional practices with a view to achieve the foreseeable resourcefulness, with a view to achieve that efficient resource management, with a view to achieve those goals with respect to sustainability. Also, what we have also seen is such that one of the key drivers of the circular economy is collaboration. Collaborative innovation needs to be adopted as a strategy, such that if we adopt, I'm speaking to how we can intersect positively to be able to drive sustainable business practices. If we can align collaborative, if we can adopt rather collaborative innovation by engaging the relevant stakeholders in each locality, in each region, then we are able to maximize the potentials of available resources, both human, financial, and all kinds of resources, with a view to get the desired outcomes, right? And also we feel that in order to be able to drive positive, sustainable business practices, there is a need, just like Jason has mentioned about find a voice, there is a need, a critical need to educate and empower. There are needs to create informative sessions, also workshops where innovative entrepreneurs can connect with the local communities and see how they can distill, for lack of another word, and discern using the local knowledge and traditional wisdom to be able to transform that, transform their traditional practices, right? And using that as a catalyst for a climate change result, right? Because it's go without saying, they say knowledge is power. Most of those traditional wisdom and practices, right, if articulately, communicated in a way and manner that the local community can understand it, right, then you can then see the value, the treasure in those traditional wisdom. So it's not a competitive approach, suggests that the use of technology does not see the need for traditional wisdom and traditional practices, ancient wisdom and traditional practices. But however, what we are seeing in practice is such that there is a lot of value in ancient wisdom and traditional practices, those cultural traditions, if aligned with the right use of technology, engaging with the key relevant stakeholders, then there's a possibility that we can achieve far much more the desired goals with respect to climate solutions, with respect to sustainability, and building positive, sustainable, and profitable businesses, particularly in emerging markets.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you touched on something that I was going to ask, which was, you know, technology and sort of actual solutions, and how you can integrate that into a localized economy, so that there's shared prosperity. For me, you know, both of you have made the points about, you know, those partnerships, those collaborations, you know, as I said, SDG 17, that collaboration is everything. And I feel that that is important. But I think one of the main points that came out today was just how important the next generation is. You know, just thinking back, you know, when Adriana was talking about, you know, just in the fashion industry, you know, people are so young, 20, you know, from 12 to 20. Had they been maybe educated and been understood the impacts on their local economy, maybe looked at the wisdom that came from the people who are in their local economy, there may have been a different way of looking at their consumption, you know, and I think, and that is the truth of the matter is, even with all these intersectionalities, it's really capturing the youth, which is why I'm so, you know, for both of you, for you, Jason, the work you do with the youth is amazing, but also for Banji, you know, working with the entrepreneurs and giving a different perspective as well. Many of them are young, and so, you know, the more we infuse those values into people, the better, I think. We have, I'm not sure how much more time we have, but we will carry on talking about some of these issues. I think that one of the things that I wanted to touch on was environmental justice, you know, and equity. They sort of touched on it in some of the things that we were listening to about, you know, coming into a community with ideas maybe from elsewhere, and then maybe once you come into that community, it being kind of exploitative or not really taking into account what's already there, you know, the wisdom that's already there. Have any of you had any experience with that, you know, with a project or somebody coming into your community or a community that you know, and perhaps not thinking about the people, the stakeholders that are there? Either of you had any experience with that?
Yeah, I can quickly speak to that. With respect to facilitating access to capital, particularly in emerging markets like Africa, one of the things that we have seen in practice is such that funds or investors from the West typically would come with their preferred business models. They would come with their preferred methodologies for doing things, maybe in the West. And then
we're going to be coming, well, they're going to cut us off in 1 minute, in 20 seconds. Sorry. Yeah, but finish your thought.
So it's important to be able to leverage local expertise and knowledge to achieve the desired result. Otherwise, the gaps in funding will become wider.
Okay.
Because of lack of connection.
Thank you. Yeah, we're going to conclude. I had a concluding question, but I may even ask you.
And at the same time, this way of funding directly is so interesting, and we have to transit. That's why Luis said pressure. I wanted to arrive, yes, to end this direct financing, because for impact investors, what more transparency than understanding where the money goes directly after a capacity building to each of the artisans in order to be integrated to the market, yes? So I think that technology